So, hey guys, here's the property, 1339 Quince Street here in Denver. And so it's got a stucco wall, kind of, giving it some privacy from the street. And as it turns out, the front yard is your main yard. It does have the one-car garage right up front. I'm going to give you a little street view here. Basically, that's 14th, and the next street is Colfax. And basically, just like a few hundred feet on the left before Colfax, there's a pretty cool little coffee shop that used to be a house. So I may stop in there. It looks pretty neat. I'm going to give you the full tour here. The folks have not been here since winter. And so there's a lot of overgrown and weeding to do here. Like tree rubbing on the house, that needs some pruning and all that. And I would prune this. This creeper always drove me nuts, but some people really love it. So it's got a little iron gate from the street, so you can keep doggies in. Little ones might be able to crawl under, but that's fixable. Brick garage, it's not original to the property. Trampoline is debatable. And there's a fountain here. And a little access. I'll do more of the yard later. This Austrian pine is leaning into the walk a little bit. I'd be tending to prune that tree and encourage the pine to start going south. Oh, we've got a rose coming up in here. So anyway, I'm going to show you the garage early since I got it opened. And it's a basic garage. Seems to be structurally okay. Couldn't tell you what year it was built. My guess is before the 50s is a hunch. So, but there's room in here to fit a car and have a little bit of a workshop. But everything you saw in this garage does not come with it. So, haven't made it to the front door yet. There's a little garden area here. There's a shed for all kinds of garden stuff and whatnot. Plenty of shade trees around here. But it needs a bit of work. So, like you can see, there's some rocks under here, and I cannot tell. It's just it needs some cleaning up. This could be quite nice with a little effort, but there are some roses in this stretch right here that are getting ready to bloom. I am going to point out that there's no defined backyard. The back of the house is basically up against someone else's property. Your neighbor to the rear, I should say. This part of the yard I'm at the access to it. There doesn't seem to be a door that takes you out to it, and they just kind of let it go. So there's actually a swing set in there, more trash cans and stuff. I would clean up the access to this for sure. There's like a little playhouse on that swing set too. Here they have the clean outs for the new sewer line that was installed real recently. They left a fitting in the tree. And there's some air blowing out coming from the basement. I don't think it's radon mitigation, but there's definitely some work that needs to be done, get the trees off the house. And it looks like there's some touch up for painting and whatnot in a number of places, but the brick for the most part up front here looks to be good. The screen door has seen better days. It's out of square. It doesn't have screen doors usually like to have a tensioning cable that goes diagonally to keep them from sagging the way this one has sagged. So we have a screen porch, light fixture above. So we have an iron security door, and here is that door that is famous from the Cosmopolitan Hotel, and there's a sink upstairs from the same hotel. So there's a wood burner fireplace right here when you walk in the front door. And you probably saw from the photos, here's a shot from one of the listing photos, and it shows this room. It's got some, I don't know if that's maple, might be maple, shelving in here, oak floors. There's some wear on the oak floors. They're due for a refinish for sure. But this room's nice and light and bright. It has these shades. I wonder if they ever use them because it's so private from the street. Maybe in the wintertime, you won't be so private. And that might be when they draw it down. So here's a side yard. I'm going to point out maybe more than once, the fence between you and the neighbor, it's got some issues. It's leaning and whatnot. Here's an access to the side yard. There's another one as well off the kitchen. And so this would be your dining area based on the light fixture. There is a vault ceiling here, a little bit of a crack running down the middle. And we have a powder room. Actually, is this a? Yep, it's a powder, and I barely fit. So there's the reading room, and it's got some sword shelves in here too. Interesting. Well, you got a view as the front, but I can see the shades might get drawn on this room. So we've got the tumbled marble tile. I was putting that in homes in the 90s. And here's your kitchen. It is a step down. And so we got painted gray cabinets, nice vault. We have an issue with the ceiling here. Want to see what's going on with that. Could be just old workmanship. Not top of the end appliances. We got Whirlpool, at least they match. It is a granite top, here at least. And we have the cooking area, and these are freestanding shelf units. This one's kind of cool. I like that. I want to point out it's got this nice industrial hood. It is a recirculator one. No, it does not vent outside. It goes through a charcoal filter. And a little bit of an open glass pantry thing here. Just, originally designed to display plates and cups. This room does not have a light fixture in it. And I don't think it even has a switch for one. But it's got a cool brick wall. They're calling this a bedroom. We have a little bit of movement in the wall here. There's a couple little cracks. Remember, this is a 1911 home. So you definitely want to look hard at the foundation on this. Now, off of this bedroom is the laundry and bath. So it's got a little closet here. There's the coat closet for the bedroom. And it's got a shower. Lots of storage in here. And shower could use a little bit of caulk touch up. I think that heat lamp is supposed to be a fan. Since they have an operable window here, they may not have a ventilation in this room. Cool old door with the glass knobs. And I'm going to move on to the next bedroom. And this used to be an exterior door here, and they just made it fixed. I opened the shades in here so you can see, but immediately out these windows is not a backyard for this home. It's the next door neighbor. And so they've got a veggie garden going in here, lots of onions coming up right now. So you might want to consider that. Here's a view of the side yard that I couldn't get to very well. Really overgrown, but man, I would take advantage of that. And interesting arch opening on a closet. I think this might have been a porch at one time. And above me is a rear deck, which I would call the backyard. All right, coming off the kitchen, now there's a step down and a step up here. They had to accommodate the stairs working, but there's this sunroom. Could be a great area for plants. Not much in the line of ventilation. There looked like there might have been a shade on these skylights at one time. There's a frame for it. This could be a room that cooks after a while. And I'm going to turn around here to give you another perspective of it. There is a fan there, and I think there's a switch for it somewhere, and that probably helps reduce the heat. It might blow out somewhere. I'm not really sure where. But if you want to have some plants, this is a cool area to do it. I'm going to do the basement before I go upstairs just because it's right here. I normally save it for late in the shot, but why not? So Goodman furnace, I think it's fairly new. According to the listing, they have not moved all their stuff out yet. So it's hard to see everything here. There's this cabinet here recessed with a pocket for stuff. So somebody might have been hanging tools and whatnot here. Water heater is gas, and it's not fairly new. I'm looking for a date. Sorry, I might shorten this part of the video. This is an older water heater. It appears, and don't hold me to it, an inspector can give you better intel, to be 30 years old. So they usually, once they get past 10, every inspector will tell you, oh, past its serviceable life. But there's stuff in here. It's hard to see. Oh, there's some storage here and whatnot going on. They have a new water line. So City of Denver provided them with a new water line. They did. Here, the old one was not working really well. Now, they've got this fan thing running, and that was the one we saw outside. It's coming from here. So we got a couple blowers feeding this pipe. I would definitely ask about it. And if that white pipe is PVC, the inspector's going to shoot it down. Because that probably was done at a time where they didn't have glues that could do both. So anyway, but there was a new sewer line here, and that's where it comes in. They actually had to go through an opening here to get it connected. Unknown electrical, not connected to anything in the corner there. So I would definitely let an inspector loose on this. Alrighty, so came back from the basement. Let's do this side yard since we're right here. It's flagstone patio embedded with stones from Taos, New Mexico. Right. So this could be a nice sunny little spot, but you can definitely see it needs some maintenance. All the downspouts have extensions on them. And I wish they kind of went further from the house, especially given the home's age. That's something I would really, really, really want to fix. This one's got a hole in it, failing. But clean up the plants here, some pruning, fix the fence. This could be nice. So you have an inverter for the solar on the roof, and we talked about that. And that's a meter that's like reading what it's producing. And here's this solar interface, disconnect, and your main panel and meter, as well as looks like cable coming in here as well. Up on the wall there, that's your cooling system. It's a swamp cooler. So that's the only cooling in the whole house, and it blows in on the upper area And if you, Deb, I think you know swamp coolers, but they can cool everything at that level and below, and you just have to have windows open for it to flow out. So, but as I mentioned before, the fence needs a little work, and we've got some stuff here getting way overgrown and even going up the telephone pole, which is right here at the corner of the property. And you see, there's the neighbor's yard right there. But to give you an overview of this yard here, not too bad. And looking up, you can see the railing for the deck above that back bedroom. But I do see some details here and there where this could use a little bit of touch-up work. Like, looks like something was growing in there at one time. Anyway, let's head back in. I think one comment I will make is the windows are eclectic. There's some newer windows and there's some older windows. This obviously is an older door, and they have a storm door and glass outside of it to help improve the thermal performance. There's the evaporative cooler, aka swamp cooler. It's not level. I would fix that if you're going to use that. So this loft area, I believe they're calling the third bedroom. So it's open to the kitchen below. Something caught my eye here. Well, that's just a wire. So yeah, there's some painting that needs to be done. This window is in bad shape. It's going to need some work or just replacement. Yeah, the windows up here do not look real good. Here's the bathroom. It's got a sheet vinyl floor. It's black speckly. And here's that cool sink from the Cosmopolitan Hotel. That's a big selling feature. Maybe the mirror was original for that too. Couple little cabinets recessed here. Yeah. Roof appears to be in okay shape, but they never cleaned the gutters. We got a drippy spout on the tub, rust spots. Evo. And whatnot. Let's head out to this rear deck. That's a hollow core door. Down. And this is a rubber roof system. They're actually designed, if you were to put down some protective strips here, you could actually put a wood deck on top. We've done that a lot. There is snow melt wire here, and that looks like the power and control for it. So they probably get some ice dams on this roof. And you know, the debris, if you clean it, it'll dam up less. Got solar panels up here. And just to give you a real overview, you do have this telephone pole and transformer right here. Not much you can do about that. I might actually raise a privacy screen just to improve the view if I were doing that. This lattice has seen better days. Before I leave up here, I got a close-up here of, you know, the exterior needs some touch-up. I would say, you know, a full scrape, paint, caulk, not in that order, of course, and also a number of these windows are seeing failures where they're beyond repair. And so it'd be well worth to look at cost of replacing windows. some final thoughts about this home. It definitely has what I call the funk factor, that I know that you like. It is going to need work. It's going to. I can't even probably begin on some of the things that you might decide that you want to do to improve this home. It does have potential. The neighborhood's good, and cool little windows up there. But there's certain things. So it's a matter of, the things that you're going to end up wanting to improve or change. You have to weigh it all out. This is not a home that's going to attract a bunch of people, and that's good for you if you're thinking about buying it, and it's not going to go for top dollar. The typical homeowner these days in our current market is really fussy because they get to be. There's twice as many homes available as there are people looking in our market. And so, are you going to be in a competitive situation? I can't say for sure. Maybe, maybe not. They did just a couple days ago reduce the price by another $20,000. And that's the other thing. Is what should this sell for? And that's going to take a little bit of thought and research. That's the old stove flue pipe. It's going to take some thought and research to see what this is going to, what's the right price. That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's going to take some work. I'm just thinking about it, and my brain kind of swells up a little bit. Because the way I typically look at it, and we can talk about this on the phone, is what is this place if that everything was perfect? The yard was great. Nothing needs to be done. No problems with the windows. Forget about the solar for a minute, and just everything is nicely done and all that. What would what would that price be? And then you have to start subtracting things that need to be corrected, fixed, repaired, replaced, and so on. There's some things you may not see because I want to double check the drainage around the house so that you don't end up with foundation problems. Now, given the house is now 114 years old, at least the original part of it, and it's still here, so that's a good sign. And so, anyway, I'm going to stop chattering, and we can talk more about it.